doing? It's Coffee Break with Jimmy. I guess today we'll want to talk a little bit about California and what's going on here and what's been going on here for the last, well, let's call it 15, 16 years. We've had Democratic rule here for the last 15 years anyway. We've had governors. And before that, I think we had Arnold Schwarzenegger for, I don't know, 4 years, or was it only a governor for 2 years? I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. And before that, we had Gray Davis. The last time we really had a good governor in the state of California, a Republican governor, was George Deumeijian, and that was back, I don't know when that was, in the 80s or 90s. So even we had Ronald Reagan as a governor of California at one time, but he was a Democrat at that point in time. But for the last, say, 15 years, we've been run by Democrats here. And whether it be the governor, state assembly, state senate, if you have, say you have 4 people running, running for the same office, and it comes down to whether 2 Democrats or the 2 Republicans, for that matter, they get the most votes. Well, then they're the ones who run for that particular office. So the governor has just been Democrats, been run by Democrats for a while. I think maybe 12 years ago we had that Cox fella that actually ran for governor. But that was, I believe, that was against Jerry Brown, I think. I'm not too sure. But anyhow, for the last 16 years, that's the way it's been. So everything that's gone wrong with California, I've heard it different ways. I've heard it now I hear it's the 4th largest economy in the world. I've heard it was the 5th, and I've heard it was the 6th. And I would say with the one that I think I know it is, it's the 5th largest economy in the world, with, of course, with the United States being number 1. California doesn't seem like it. I mean, we have the highest gas prices. We have the highest insurance rates. We have the highest cost of living anywhere in the United States. Maybe we rival New York. I'm not too sure, but I know New York isn't a very cheap place to live either. So if you go back to back when you up in Sonoma, when they had fires up there a few years back. What was that called? The Parkland Fire, I think it was called, and up in Napa Valley, and a complete city up in the mountains burnt down. And there's a couple other cities that caught fires, winds and everything kept the fires alive. Well, this was done on the Democratic watch. They should have cleared out our forests, and they never have. They never cleaned up our forests. And we've had the same thing here recently down in Pacific Palisades and Altadena, when they had the fires down south, when the Santa Ana winds came through and just blew like crazy, just blew the fire like crazy, and we didn't have enough water to put the fire out. And of course, that was again on the Democratic watch. That's Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, and she left town. I mean, what are you doing leaving town? And the Santa Ana winds are coming, and these were supposed to be some extraordinary Santa Ana winds. Are supposed to be some pretty heavy winds, and they were. And things should have been set up just in case there was a fire. But that lake that stored water, or reservoir that stored water up above the Pacific Palisades, it was empty. So they had no water in the fire hydrants to put out the fire. So practically the whole city burned down. And this has been going on for some time. With they're they not fiscally responsible when they're spending? The Democratic Party here in the state of California? Why are we paying more in taxes? Why are we paying more for gas? Why are we paying more for insurance? Why are we paying more for our homes? The interest rates are sky high here. Everything is sky high in California. And we just went through a bird flu epidemic, the H1 bird flu, what it's called. Went through that. We had a year before that we had floods because, well, we didn't have the extra dam they were talking about building for several years to store the water. Now, But they have since, I guess, since 2008, I believe it was. I saw on the news today. It was 2008. It started the bullet train. That was the inception of the bullet train. It was supposed to cost $33 billion to build from Los Angeles to San Francisco. How they're going to get it over the Grapevine, I have no idea. It's pretty much too high. You would think they would bring it along the coastline, along Highway 1, maybe take it out to up around the backside of Bakersfield, and because they're a smaller mountain range. On either side, a smaller mountain range for them to take the bullet train across. But they still haven't figured that out yet, I don't think. But yet, there's a lot of people that made a lot of money on land that they owned in the different cities, whether it be Los Angeles or San Francisco. I think Nancy Pelosi's husband and there are others that were friends that had properties that they were going to sell for the bullet train. And apparently they got their money already. They already awarded their grants and everything for that. But since then, up until when it really started digging dirt for the train itself, I think it started in 2017. And it's already gotten to a point now in 2025 up to $128 billion. It's already been allotted for the bullet train. And it's only gone from Bakersfield to Merced. And not 1 foot of track has been laid yet either. I mean, this is just part of the structure itself. And so it's already way over budget. So I guess Sean Duffy, the Secretary of Transportation, and this came from our president, came from Donald Trump, that we're going to not fund California. They're not going to fund California anymore. I think it was $4 billion a year. They're funding to California to help them with the bullet train. Well, they're going to take away the funding. So if they want to continue, Gavin Newsom or whoever is governor from this point on, if they want to continue with the bullet train, it's going to be us taxpayers here in California that's going to pay for it. And probably never, in most cases, won't ever get an opportunity to ride the train because it's going to be too expensive. And probably it's probably not going to be built before I'm dead. So who's to say if anybody's going to get the opportunity to ride that train anyway? So the Democrat Party has put California so far in the hole. I mean, we have so many unpaid. I got a list here. Unfunded liabilities. It's because the illegals that are here, they're giving everything free. You go there, you get free benefits. For the Democrats can stay in power. Some of them they do the vote harvesting. And different things. So there's a lot of money being spent on illegal aliens here in the state of California. So why won't they let ICE come in and do their job and take away the the bad people? I mean, there's a lot of people that live here, and I know President Trump has spoke about it a little bit, and I know he's talks to HS, Homeland Security, has talked to them about it, and Kristi Noem. And maybe there are some people that have been here for a number of years that work on the farms, hospitality jobs, and been there for a number of years. And if they can get someone to vouch for them in some form or fashion, because that used to be the key. I know with my grandparents, I remember them talking about it when they first came over here in the early 1900s. They actually had a job here waiting for them. And so there was someone that was actually backing them up to get them over here to this country. Not necessarily be a citizen, but come over with a work permit. And that's a lot of legal immigration, which we need and we've had for a number of years. But for the last 4 years, you've heard all the numbers, 10 million, 20 million, some say more, some say closer to 30 million that come across the border illegally in the last 4 years. And some of them, they've got a history of there are some rapists out there, murderers, attempted murderers. They've got a history of crime there. And we don't want those people. We won't be walking the street with people like that come from other countries, and they send them over here because, well, they didn't want to pay for them to detain them, put them in jail. And so that's pretty much what ICE is trying to do is get. And if there are some that actually did break the law, I mean, when you come over here legally, that's still breaking the law. So you can be deported. But this is not just, it's across the United States. But I'm looking at California. There's a lot of illegal immigration here in California. Has been for a number of years. So they're trying to do some things to try to straighten this state out. But we know it's not just getting the illegals out here and the ones that came in here in the last 4 years that definitely shouldn't be here unvetted. They didn't even come in through a port of entry. They were gotaways. That's just part of the problem we have in the state of California. Now, I know Steve Hilton is running for governor. He's the Republican representative that's going to be running for governor anyway. There might be others. You got Kamala Harris running for governor, and there's another gal. I forget her name now, but she's running on the Democratic side also. We've got to get California straight. So Democrats, independents, Republican people, you see the template. The template has been set, and our president has set the template. You've seen how he's doing things, how he's making the country stronger, making the country more viable. I mean, they said, he said in one of his last statements that he had, they said other leaders from other countries said that the United States was lost and they weren't in good shape. And since Trump's become president, we're the #1 country in the world. Everybody wants to do business with Trump. And I didn't know if you know this, but Trump has got a bachelor's degree in economics, science of economics, from the Wharton School of Economics there in the University of Pennsylvania. And we never had a president with a degree, I don't think. But that's why he's doing so well. He knows how to run business. Well, we need that template there of Donald Trump, of President Trump. Also, part of that template is like Governor DeSantis of Florida. They kind of walk along the same line. They might have a little disagreement here and there, but that's not much. But they most of the time they think a lot alike. And even Ron DeSantis would probably be. J.D. Vance also, I mean, we don't know where he's going to be in 4 years, if he's going to be ready to take over the reins of President Trump. We'll have to wait and see what that happens there. But I think one that's really set up to be the next president after President Trump would be probably Ron DeSantis, and I think he would follow the same MAGA lines that Trump has set out there for this common sense Republican Party. But we need to have that same template set up here in the state of California. A lot of things need to be changed. And having let's just call it the 5th best economy in the world, we can turn this thing upside down. Or turn it back around, I should say. Not upside down, but back around. I mean, there's a lot of money being spent. I mean, I was looking at the debt clock. My wife was showing me that the other day. And, I mean, it's like unfunded pension liabilities, $3.068 trillion. These are unfunded liabilities for people that have retired, from school teachers, firemen, so on and so forth, policemen. It's $80,000 a piece a year for for the population of 38,783,000. So I mean, there's a lot of money being put out that can't afford to be put out right now. So I can't see us putting out any money for this bullet train. I think the bullet train might come to its end, especially since the federal government's going to pull the plug on the money that they're giving the state of California for the bullet train, because it hasn't panned out at all what they're planning on doing. So that's if it's going to continue, it's going to continue by us taxpayers, which we're burdened enough already as it is. So let's think about it, Democrats, Republicans, Independents. I just Californians, come on. Let's get somebody on the ticket that can follow the template of President Trump and get California. Because California, if we can get this, if Trump can get this country back on track after the mess that Biden created, I think we can get somebody else. Maybe it's Steve Hilton. It might be somebody else, but somebody else with economic, background like Trump has. He, like I said, he's got a degree in economics. And if we had someone like that who would think more like a businessman here in the state of California, we can turn the state around, and it'd be better for everybody here. Everyone's saying they want to leave. Who wants to leave California? Who in their right mind would want to leave California? Except for the fact that we have to spend more money to live here. This is a great state. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. And so please subscribe, press the like button, hit the notification bell. Next time I'm on, you can see me. I'm going to talk a little bit more about California next time. And probably I'll have some more numbers. I have some numbers here that I spoke about today already. But we need to turn California around, just like President Trump has turned the United States around. We just got to follow his lead. Like I said, he set the template for it already. So we'll see what we can do. This is Coffee Break with Jimmy. We will see you next time. Thank you.